What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a video. I thought today we would take a look at my small but cool Prune Face collection. I wanted to start off with a big thank you to my buddy Chris W. Chris was the featured interviewee on my collector spotlight interview a couple weeks ago. You can go back and look on my channel for that video. Chris has an amazing collection. We've become great friends just through my channel and have made a number of purchases together, and I've bought stuff for him and reserved stuff for him, and he's got stuff for me, and we keep shipping stuff back and forth. We keep feeding off of each other and spending each other's money. It's really bad. But Chris was awesome enough to give me, as a gift, this Tri-Logo Palatoy Prune Face. It's awfully pretty. It was such a great gift. Way too generous, Chris. And I just want to say thank you for that. Really, really nice of you. And here he is. This is the 70 back B example. Chris is a massive Prune Face fan. I don't know why. You'll have to ask him. He's obsessed with Prune Face. He's got a really cool Prune Face mini focus. But anyway, he got a straight 85s version of this, and he decided to part with this one, and it was very kind of him. But here it is. Prune Face on a Palatoy 70 back B. Beautiful, beautiful item. And here is the label on it. This was graded by Collector Archive Services. 70 back B Tri-Logo. The card and the blister got a 75, and the figure got an 85 score. I was a little surprised by the 75 score on the blister. I guess it's just got just enough dinting on top there to warrant the 75. I probably would have given it an 80 personally, but that's what they gave it. And here is the back of the card. I think the reason it got the 75 is right here. It's got a very slight litho tear. I wish my camera would focus better. There it goes. So you can see a very slight litho tear there. I think that's probably the main reason it got the 75 card score. Everything else is pretty clean, really. So, but a beautiful card back and a very generous gift. You know, these bubbles are pretty tough to find in such nice condition. I'm really surprised it got a 75 for the blister score, but that's what it got. And I thought while we're looking at this, thank you again, Chris, for this. I thought while we're looking at this, we would take a look at everything else in my Prune Face collection that I have. It's not a massive collection, but I do have some very cool ones and a couple of rare ones. Let's start with the two bootlegs that I have. The first one is an unarticulated Polish bootleg Prune Face in black. This was a purchase from a friend of mine named Drew a long time ago. And Drew, thank you again for this bad boy. This is a second set unarticulated bootleg. So there was a first set that was much earlier in the life cycle of the Polish bootlegs. These second set unarticulated bootlegs came out between 1986 and 1990, according to Jacob Brzezinski's book, Far, Far Away, A Guide to Unlicensed Polish Figures. And this is the black one. I'm going to put up down here in the corner another photo from Jacob's book that has some other examples from that second set. Most of the second set unarticulated Polish bootleg Prune Faces are very wacky colors, reds and greens and blues and all kinds of wild colors. This is a pretty unique black color. I really like this one. It's black with a silver vest, green accents. This one came back with an 80 score. I've shown this on my channel before, but first generation Prune Face unarticulated. By first generation, I really think that should say second set, but you know, first generation I equate to 1980s bootlegs, so that is correct. I think for these unarticulated, I probably wouldn't say first generation or second generation. Since there was a first set and second set, I would probably call this a second set in 1980s. But that's for me to discuss with Collector Archive Services at a later date whenever I find another one to submit to them. But really nice example. And then the other one I have is a third generation 1994, 1995-ish Prune Face. This one is displayed with a Polish bootleg G.I. Joe weapon, kind of a longer rifle. That's the closest I could find to match with this one. This Prune Face has a flesh face with black gloves and boots, black torso, crotch area, and then kind of a darker blue legs and arms. I did have at one point a gold-headed third generation prune face. I sent that to Chris W as a gift. That one was graded 85 plus. He had it less than an hour before his son somehow got a hold of it and broke the case. So he resubmitted it to Collector Archive Services, but I'll include a photo down here of that one so you can take a look at that one that used to be in my collection. That one was graded 85 plus and it had a gold head, but this one has a flesh face. And I kept this one because this one is a 90 grade articulated green and blue. I wish my camera would, there it goes. Third generation, prune face with gun, articulated bootleg, green, blue, 90 score. So really nice. 1995 is what they listed. I mean, the third generation articulated Polish bootlegs, I would say 1990s in general. The second generation tend to have first generation paint apps with the updated sockets for the arms and legs that are no longer cone shaped. Those kind of came out like 1990-ish. And then the third generation had better paint applications with the revised sockets, much cleaner look. And these came out 1994, 1995-ish. So that's a good label there. But it's a 90 grade, really nice. I think if I get any other third generations, I'm not going to include these G.I. Joe style weapons. I just don't like the way they look with them, but it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. I'm being nitpicky here. There is also, I do want to mention this. Just recently, I found out that there is a semi-articulated Mexican bootleg from the 1980s. They are very rare, but somebody just, Paco Gonzalez, this photo, I'm going to show this right here again. Paco Gonzalez in the Facebook bootleg group posted this about a week or two ago on Facebook. It's the first time I've ever seen a Mexican bootleg 1980s semi-articulated. It's got kind of a teal legs and torso. The arms do move, and they're usually like in red. I did a search in the Facebook groups, and I did see other examples, so I know it's legitimate, but it has to be ultra rare and ultra expensive because I've only seen that example that Paco posted, and then one other one that was incomplete that I found on the Facebook group from many years ago. So it's ultra rare. So those are the two bootlegs I have. This is the Tri-Logo, and then let me show you a couple of loose licensed examples that I have. This is an AFA graded example. I didn't like the way they cased this because it's got the cape covering the entire body. So all you see is Prune Face's sad, sad face. Oh, I'm so sad. Why am I stuck on Endor with Han Trenchcoat? I don't know. Wah, wah, wah. But anyway, this is graded by AFA a 90. So it's ultra rare. I mean, not ultra rare. Ultra mint, not ultra rare. There's nothing rare about this one. But this is the no COO. All Prune Faces are no country of origin. There are some slight differences to the sculpt and pant color, and I'll go over that a little bit later. But this is a loose graded AFA 90 grade, so very, very mint. But it always bugged me when I got this a long time ago. It always bugged me that the cape was that was covering the entire figure. So I went ahead and got another one that was an unsealed baggie. The heat seal had a big hole in it that you could take the weapon out of. So I knew that that AFA or CAS would not grade it as a baggie. So I took it out of the damaged baggie and I sent it in to Collector Archive for display like this. This display is much better in my opinion. This has a cape stand and it shows the entire figure. But I love the way that turned out. And this one also got a 90. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's a 90 grade also. Again, no COO. I'm doing it upside down. Maybe, let's see if I can do that. There we go. Look at that. It took me a little while. I'm a little slow today. No COO, one line LFL. So I think that all of the Kenner, and even I think the Lily Letty, which I'll show you in a second, even that one is a no COO. It just has a slightly different date stamp on it. But no COO, 90 grade. So it's nice to have one that actually shows the full figure instead of having the cape on it. So that one is that. And then my last loose graded is a pretty rare one. This is an overstock Lily Letty non-sonic welded. I paid a ton of money for this. You'd probably pay more money for this than any of these others that I have out here. It's very, very difficult to find true non-sonic welded Lily Letty overstock. And this is one that I had Collector Archive Services use their cool non-sonic welded case for. But this one is a painted example, painted overstock, but it was just never assembled in the factory in Mexico at Lily Letty before they went out of business. So a very nice example, and it's graded 85. Non-sonic welded overstock, Lily Letty prune face. There we go, 85 grade. So I've had this one for a while as well, but I paid a lot of money for that one. I think I paid about 300 bucks, maybe 250 for it, ungraded. So I probably got about 300 in it now. So it's a pretty expensive item to get these overstock Lily Letty. They're not cheap. Okay, and then finally, one of the coolest in my collection. This is, I'm going to scoot these back here so it can be seen in its entirety. This is the Lily Letty prune face. I should have looked up what the differences are with the figure versus the Kenner counterpart, but it is a no COO version as well, and it is an 80 grade. This is displayed with an original El Regreso del Jedi, La Guerra de las Galaxias Lily Letty card back. It's got a little bit of damage to the top of the card. A lot of damage to the top of the card. But these card backs can go for several $100 sometimes. And I got this one from Stephen Patrick in one of the Facebook groups. Stephen is a Lily Letty collector. He has an amazing collection of Lily Lettys. I think he's got 4 removable rocket Lily Letty Boba Fett's. I mean, he's just got an unbelievable collection. Anyway, he sold me the figure with the card back together, and he sent them, I think, from Spain. So it's displayed with the weapon on the side there. Here are the backs of the card backs. As I've mentioned in past videos, you can either have the positive card back like this with the cardboard background and the drawings of all of the figures in black, or there is a negative card back that is all black with white figures. The negative card backs in general tend to be more rare and more pricey for those card backs. This is the less rare of the two. The only negative card back I have is the Lily Letty Biker Scout displayed with the figure. I think I've already shown that on my channel. You can go back and look at it. But this is the positive card back. But these Lily Lettys are pretty high demand. And as part of this video, I just try to give you guys as much information. It's probably more information than you guys really want most of the time, but I did find some other cool examples of prototype stuff, some other information about the history of the U.S. Kenner cardbacks, a department store baggie, and a few other kind of cool nooks and crannies of information. I don't know what that means, but that's what I said, of information about the sculpt. You know, so I put all that together, and I'm going to stop the video here and cut to that, and then we'll finish up with some photos of my collection. Hold on one second. Prune Face was a fairly strange choice by Kenner to add to the vintage run towards the end of the Return of the Jedi line of figures. Prune Face made his debut in the US on the 77A card back, which you see on the left, and he was also found on the 79 card backs, which you see on the right. Prune Face is not a particularly difficult figure to find in near mint condition on the card. But finding a prune face with a clear bubble is like finding a unicorn farting. You just don't see it. It's very difficult to find one that has a clear bubble. For whatever reason, prune face's blisters always turn yellow. I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 over the last 5 years or so that have a clear bubble. So if you see one at a reasonable price, be sure to grab it. In terms of other packaged prune face items that I found while assembling this video, the only other one of note that I wanted to mention is the Kenner Canada 65 back that you see on the left. This is from Collector Archive Services website. This 65 back features the Emperor offer with the English and French language, and again with the dark yellow blister. And on the right, also from Collector Archive Services website, is a 7-pack department store exclusive that features the B-Wing, the Leia Poncho from Endor, Wicket, Han Trenchcoat, Prune Face obviously, Tebow, and Paplu. There are a number of different baggies for Prune Face, but I thought this one was the most interesting to include. There are some Euro baggies that are fairly difficult to find, as well as standard US baggies. With regard to molding differences for the no COO one-line LFL version, there are two different variants to look for. There's a fine sculpt, which you'll see up top, and then the soft sculpt, which you'll see down below. I just found out about these variants fairly recently. Jeff Jacob, who is a big-time collector, he sold these two on eBay fairly recently, so I was able to pull off the Collector Archive Services labels as well as photos of the individual figures. The fine versus soft sculpt really refers to how much molding you can see on the shirt and limbs. You can see the top one is the fine sculpt. It has a much sharper look to the pockets and the jacket and arms and legs. You'll also notice that there's a slight paint difference between the fine sculpt and soft sculpt of the pants. The soft sculpt has a much brighter green pant color, while the fine sculpt is more of a drabber olive green. Finally, before we wrap this video up, I wanted to show you a couple of prototype Prune Face items that I found during the making of this video. On the left is a first shot prototype Prune Face that is for sale on eBay. This one features a prototype dark gray accessory or rifle, and he came with a squid head cape. Since squid head came out a little bit earlier than Prune Face, I am assuming that the engineers just reused the cape for doing this first shot, but it's really cool to look at. He features really dark green pants, but the actual segment around his crotch is the light green. So you can see where they were thinking about this ahead of time as to what color they wanted to choose. And then on the right is a photo from Collector Archive Services website. This is an unreleased Power of the Force proof card of Prune Face. These are very expensive since these figures were never released on that card back, and they go for many thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.